Hey everybody, Daniel from Spacedock here, and we've got a new trailer for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, and it is agog with spaceships, so of course we're going to talk about it. Now, launching straight into it, you will immediately see a bunch of things that are not spaceships, which I'm sure a great many other YouTube people have described in detail, but that is not why you've come to Spacedock, so let's track all the way forwards. Quickly stopping 27 seconds in to glance at this shot of all of the Resistance people, simply to comment that it looks like the Resistance has recovered somewhat since the end of The Last Jedi. I guess there really were some people waiting in unknown space to help them or whatever, and it's nice to see characters like Snap Wexley back after their absence in The Last Jedi, getting a lot of Force Awakens vibes. A lot of the kind of exciting stuff that was baked into the conflict in that film is making a return here by the look of it, and I can really appreciate that. First up, we can see Poe Dameron's T70 X-Wing here has got a fancy new paint job. I believe there are copies online of toys where you can see this paint job in its entirety. It's a nice kind of two-tone orange and grey sloped colour scheme. Very, very nice. The T70 X-Wing is always gorgeous, and any kind of fancy, unique paint job is always much appreciated, so it'll be nice to see this in action. Then we've got what is, at this point, almost certainly the Tantive 4 taking off from this jungle planet, probably Endor. I see no real other reason to have a CR90 in this colour scheme showing off so centre stage in these trailers, so I guess maybe the Tantive 4 has made a return. Like almost everything in this trailer, this ship is staggeringly out of date, being 40-50 years obsolete by the time of this film, but luckily the Empire or the Sith or the First Order or whatever the hell they are have universally decided to use ancient ships themselves as well, which was very courteous of them, so it all conveniently flattens out and there's no real problem. Skipping past some fancy stuff with Kylo Ren and Rey on the ruins of the Death Star, we find ourselves at 50 seconds here. We can see a bunch of TIE SFs and TIE FOs kicking about, and there's this large iceberg, and if we look very closely at it, there's some kind of artificial structure inside of it, and one person has pointed out on Twitter that this looks remarkably like an Executor-class Super Star Destroyer, if we consider the left side of the screen to be the aft of the SSD and the right side of the screen to be the prow. It does look quite a lot like an Executor class buried in ice. Perhaps this is where Palpatine has been hiding, or how he escaped from the end of Return of the Jedi, or whatever he did after that to preserve his body. Maybe this is the heart of the First Order, and all of the original progenitors of that organization came from those who survived on this ship. I believe the Eclipse from the Aftermath books was Executor class, and that escaped with the First Order fleet, or the fleet that would become the First Order. So perhaps that's what this is. Or maybe it's not an Executor class and just looks remarkably like one. Either way, it would be very, very cool to see a ship smash this iceberg to pieces and emerge Lusankya style at some point in this film. Skipping forward a little bit, we've got an Imperial 1 class Star Destroyer emerging from the ice. Still no explanation as to why the Empire is using so many ISD-1s in this film, or the Sith, or the First Order, or whatever they are. I'm amazed, to be frank, that there were ever even this many ISD-1s built. For almost the entire Galactic Civil War, the ISD-2 was in center stage, but I guess all of these ships were sequestered away at some point as an emergency backup fleet in case whatever happened. Perhaps Palpatine put this plan in place very, very early in the days of the Empire to make sure he had a failsafe if anything went wrong. That would explain the dated warships. But either way, this is a classic heritage Star Wars design, literally the second ship ever to appear on screen in Star Wars, so having this back for the final film is very, very appropriate. Okay, and now we open up on this giant mess of a million different types of spaceship, and I'm going to be on this slide for a while. First of all, I'm going to make the joke that I made on Twitter. This formation makes absolutely no sense, and I seriously hope that the next thing that happens in the film is that they all just immediately crash into each other over some comical music, because this is just a horrible, horrible thing to do. Why would you ever put so many ships of so many different sizes and so many different rates of acceleration this close together? They're just going to crash into each other, and it makes no tactical sense either way. But that's Star Wars for you. Obviously, in the center, we have the Millennium Falcon sporting its classic circular dish, which it apparently replaced somehow. And on the right, in a very pleasant surprise, we can see what is almost certainly the Ghost. Could be another VCX 100, but again, there's not really much reason to have one so center stage unless it is the Ghost. I'm suspecting this is probably being piloted by Jason Syndulla, as Hera would be about 70 by this point and probably shouldn't be flying spaceships. That being said, if anybody was going to still be a badass at the age of 70, it would be Hera Syndulla. We can see a few U-Wings kicking about. At the back, we can see a Pelter-class frigate. I think there's more than one Pelter-class frigate in this shot. I really hope it's the Phoenix Home refit of the Pelter class that we saw in Star Wars Rebels. It would be really nice if that was a widespread design the Alliance used rather than just a one-shot thing that Jun Sato did, because the through deck for the A-Wings on that was really, really cool. Overall, it was just an awesome ship. I kind of wish we'd seen that all the way through Rebels instead of the Quasar Fire. I do like the Quasar Fire, but the original Phoenix Home was just a really awesome Rebel Alliance, grounded and utilitarian design, really improvised and gritty. I liked it a lot. In the center left here, we can see a Nebulon C. In the center right, we can see a Nebulon B, and the top of a second Nebulon B in the bottom left. There are several Vac Bior cargo frigates, one in the bottom left and middle right. There's a Star Fortress bomber, one of several, I believe. If we look at this large kind of mushroom shape in the middle left, that appears to be the bow of an MC-75 Mon Calamari cruiser, like the Profundity, and to the right of it is a Hammerhead Corvette, so two ships both making a return from Rogue One. In the lower middle, we can see what is either the Halo from Star Wars The Clone Wars, or a ship of the same class as that, or it could be a Wookiee Orzitok gunship. It's kind of difficult to tell from the bow view. Center stage, just to the right of the Hammerhead Corvette, is one of a great many Free Virgilia class bunker busters, much like the Ninkar from The Last Jedi. I really, really like this design. It's a very small change from the standard Corellian Corvette. It's just kind of beefed out, but it's a really, really awesome shape, and it's a specialized ship. It's a planetary bombardment vessel, and it can also carry the Star Fortress bombers, which allows them to make a little bit of sense, since they don't actually have doors or landing gear, so they don't really work without this ship. Just below this center bunker buster, we can see a Lancer class pursuit craft. It has slightly different engine pods from the normal Lancer class. It's possible this is the Shadowcaster, which appeared in Star Wars Rebels, having just been modified a bit in the 30 or so years since the Battle of Endor. If we get into very, very close detail in the background, you can just about make out the bow of a Dornian gunship, which is a very, very cool background design that we've done an entire video on in the past. It got shown off a little bit in Star Wars Rogue One. I really appreciate that it's back now, because it's a gorgeous little ship. It's a great kit bash from the Return of the Jedi days, and it deserves a lot of attention. And while there are a great many extra ships in here, including stuff that appears to be modified versions of the Consular class Corvette from the Clone Wars, and also some completely new designs, the last couple of things I want to point out are the Urvana Hans freighter from The Force Awakens, or at least a ship of the same class as that, is very large in the lower back here. And in the bottom left and upper right, we can see what I think might be YT-2400 freighters, though there are some small differences and they could be a completely new design. Overall, though, we're certainly getting a space battle. This is really a change from what I was expecting. We got a few Y-Wings and B-Wings in that last trailer, and now it really has gone completely off the rails in the spaceship department, and I think that's very fitting. It's about time that this happened. The sequel trilogy has been bereft of good space battles, and if we're going to end the saga, there needs to be a big dramatic battle with a lot of cool designs in it, and this is definitely setting up for one. Moving forward past a lot of other stuff, eventually we come to this, what appears to be a BTL A4 Y-Wing attacking an ISD-1, which has some kind of large siege cannon attached to its ventral hull where the hangar bay would normally be. It shoots down two of these new TIE fighter designs, which are called TIE Daggers, and are apparently a Sith vessel, based on some revealed information, on its way to launch a bombing run against this particular gun. Using one Y-Wing for a bombing run is not very effective, but either way, I do like that we are seeing Y-Wings used as Y-Wings once again. It was great to see that in Rogue One, and it's nice to see it making a return now. Then we've got some people riding on horseback, or space horseback, on the top of an ISD-1. That seems to confirm that this battle is not taking place in deep space, but rather in high altitude at night over an ocean, which allows these people to be on the outside of the ship without suits. That's a pretty cool and unique location for a battle, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. Pushing further on, we get this side-on shot of the top of the ISD. We can see the entire fleet Palpatine's using spread out. I quite like this side view of this ISD where you can see its ventral cannon, because it shows that the cannon is very, very flush with the hull. It's very seamlessly attached to the design and doesn't look like it's sticking out too much, which is nice. And just afterwards, a couple of TIE Daggers fly overhead, pursued by a T70 X-Wing and a B-Wing, but the B-Wing has a different set of engines to the standard B-Wing. The configuration is slightly different. It appears to have smaller engines at the top and larger ones in the center. This may be the B-Wing Mark II, but the Mark II cockpit is what's used as the cockpit of the Resistance shuttlecraft, and in The Last Jedi we see Rose and Finn walking around that cockpit with quite a lot of space, so it seems to suggest the Mark II B-Wing is like twice the size of a standard B-Wing. It's difficult to tell the scale from this shot. This could well be that, but it could also be some other kind of B-Wing design. We'll only find out when the source books drop, really, unless there's a very clear shot to establish the scale in the movie. That's just about it for spaceship stuff, but I'm very, very excited to see this all come together in the final movie. It's very, very difficult to tell politically what on earth is going on. There seems to be some kind of Sith resurgence, and I don't know whether the First Order are into that or maybe against it, or if it'll be some kind of like three-way battle or something. This film really does seem to be just throwing a hell of a lot of elements into a giant mixing bowl to see what happens, and I'm curious to see what happens. So roll on December 20th as far as I'm concerned. There'll certainly be a lot of Spacedock content when that film comes out to talk about what we've learned there. It's nice to see all of these classic designs making a return. It seems kind of appropriate to do this big nostalgia blast for the final movie. It is still a shame that this sequel trilogy era never really got defined. There was never really an established New Republic Navy or Resistance Navy, and the First Order only got a few ships. It never really bought its own aesthetic, this period of Star Wars. It mostly riffed on the one from 30 years earlier, which is a little bit unfortunate. It makes it a less interesting period of Star Wars history than other ones like the prequels or the Old Republic. But either way, we're getting a big space battle, and there's a lot of designs that people absolutely love, and I can't wait to see them all in action in December. Of all the new things that have been brought back here, please do let me know in the comments below, what are you most excited to see the return of? I imagine there's going to be a lot of fans of the Ghost and maybe the Shadowcaster kicking about in the comments. It would be very exciting to have somebody like Hera check in on the comm or something like that, just to confirm that it is indeed them present. That would be a wonderful shout out to the Star Wars Rebels fans in the audience. But either way, please do let me know in the comments below, and I look forward to talking about this more when the film drops in December. This is Daniel from Spacedock, signing off. Thank you for watching Spacedock. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please do check out the links on the screen right now or in the description below for our Patreon and channel membership services. Anything you can pledge goes towards improving our team and our equipment and allowing us to put together bigger and more exciting video projects for you guys on the channel.